Greetings, today I am dechroming the Mini. So here we are then, the dechroming kit for the Mini JCW from SMPS2012.com. Obviously you can see the bits that are for going around the lights. So we've got the two sort of ovally ones for the front, marked left and right, and we have the more sort of square ones for the rear. And the largest piece we have is the Grille Surround for the front of the car, and then we also have the fuel cap cover. Then we have this, which is what they would refer to as the belt line. So you can see it's like gloss black. It's like a sort of thick kind of tape type of thing. So that's going to be the most sort of tricky bit to do, but I'm sure it won't be too bad. And then we have the door handle covers. The door handle covers are a little bit different to the rest of these. The rest of these, you can see they kind of look a bit dull, and that's because they just have this protective layer on that will peel off after we get them installed. Whereas the door handles, they don't come with that, and they feel like they're made of a thicker material as well, like a little bit like less bendy than this. So that's interesting. Another difference is that all these other bits come with this pre-installed double-sided tape, whereas these don't come with anything. So that's another difference. But yeah, we'll get it all installed and it's going to look awesome. It should look nice and aggressive. Shouldn't be too difficult to get all of this installed pretty quick and pretty easily. So yeah, let's get started. So might as well start out with the door handles because they are a little bit of a different application from the other bits, and I would say they are actually the easiest parts to install. So the first thing we need to do is to select the right ones. You can see this little like notch here. That matches up to like the puddle light projector thing, just like right here. So obviously grab the one that lines up with that. So then getting back to the fact that these don't come with the adhesive and the fact that they are a little bit stiffer as well, these are designed to just clip on. So we very simply line it up and that's it. And you can see that they clip on like nice and secure. I'm literally only gripping the new piano black bit, and you can see that I can pull the handle out. So that couldn't be easier. So around the other side, I've grabbed the other one. Exact same process. Done. Alright, next up I'm going to do the fuel filler cap. You can see it's very shiny chrome, so we're going to get rid of that. But before we get our cover put on here, I'm going to give this a clean. Now, I have cleaned up the car in general. It's sitting pretty decent, but we're going to get this extra clean, and I'm going to use just some isopropyl alcohol. That's what's in this little spray bottle. So literally just going to spray some onto my cloth and then just clean down the surface. Make sure that it's completely free of anything, any kind of residues, any dirt, anything at all, just to give the adhesive the maximum chance of bonding. Okay, so now very simply I have to just peel off this side of the 3M tape. Okay, there we go. And as you can see, I have left the protective cover on here because we're not going to remove that until we have the installation done. So in terms of orientation, can really only go one way. You can see there's a thicker bit here and a thinner bit here, which lines up with the thicker bit here and the thinner bit here of the cap. So we literally just line it up and push it on and then apply some nice pressure. So yeah, I would just apply this pressure for as long as you feel comfortable doing, at least 20 seconds for the 3M tape, but realistically as long as you can. There we go, job done. So I'm just going to leave the protective covering until I've done the whole car, and then I'll just do it all as one big reveal at the end. So let's move on to the next piece. Right, moving on then to the rear light surrounds. Now these ones, unlike the fronts, these are not marked left and right, but I mean realistically it's pretty easy to work it out. You know, you can just do a quick test fit and you can see, I mean if I jump over here, you can see that this one literally is not correct for this shape, and if you turn it around that way, also not right. So they can only go on one side and it's pretty easy to work it out. So obviously this is for this side, so going to do this one, but first once again going to use the IPA alcohol just to clean this down. Alright, there we go, looking great. The way that these are shaped are just really nice because they kind of just click over just right into the exact correct location, which just makes installation really easy. Just takes any guesswork out of the installation of these. So yeah, just like magic then, I will repeat that exact same process for this one. Done. So looking really cool already, and that's with the protective coating still on. Just going to be absolutely awesome once we get that removed. Okay, so now we're going to move to the front of the car. Okay, onto the front lights then. Now just thinking about this with the fact that these ones are marked L and R, I'm going to assume that they mark the front ones because they're pretty much just an oval, but they're not quite exactly an oval, so it could be easier to, like, you know, switch them around. So maybe that's why they mark these, whereas the rears are just like so obvious which is which that they don't need to bother, but that's fair enough. So this one, as you can see, is marked L for left, and now that is left with regards to if you were inside sitting in the car, the left hand side of the car, so that is this one. So yeah, exact same process once again with the alcohol, then peeling, then sticking. There we are then. In terms of advice for locating this on the chrome bits where it's meant to go, because it is kind of almost an oval but not quite, and it's also, like, as you look at the car, kind of like a wee bit sort of sideways, and there actually is a sort of slight bit of curvature here. I would say just get yourself really confident before you peel a 3M, do a test fit, and then whenever you are sort of, you know, about to actually stick it down, kind of hover over like a few millimeters and sort of get it nicely lined up, and then yeah, just push it down, and yeah, looks good. So like before, by magic, I will get this side done now. There we go, that is that side done. So the next piece, and the last solid piece, is the grille surround. So there we are then, looking good, and as with all of these other pieces, fit is excellent. Again, in terms of advice, I mean, it's really just line it up and get it on. It's as simple as that. I would have said, you know, open the bonnet in order to get, you know, a bit of pressure on the top bit, but the adhesive doesn't go beyond this like curve, so really it wouldn't have any benefit, but you don't really need to do that, as you can see, and that looks really cool. So I've left what you might call the most difficult part to last, and that is the belt line. Of course, it does start the exact same way, prepping the surface with our alcohol. So for this, obviously we need our roll of the belt line, and we need a nice, good, clean, brand new blade that's nice and sharp. Now, instead of, like, you know, trying to stick this on whilst hovering around with the entire roll, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the approximate length first, slightly longer than I need, just so that, you know, it's a bit lighter and easier to work with. Okay, so now I'm going to position it, and I'm going to go slightly beyond, because we cut it a little bit long, gonna go slightly beyond the black bit at the end here, and then whenever I'm sticking this in, I'm gonna start at the top at this sort of plastic lip right here, get it kind of like seated nicely in there, and then go down, and that should give us a nice even coverage. So yeah, this is basically just similar to before. We just need to peel the back off and get it stuck down. So got this started. I'm not going to peel this entire length off all at once, because this bit's quite long and it's kind of could be dangling down. It might stick to the bodywork of the car, which we don't want, obviously. Okay, with it pressed down along, maybe just use your like fingernail and you can see the lip of that little black bit that we were talking about earlier. With that pressed down reasonably well, we can very, very carefully get our knife and run our knife along that edge. No pressure, just trying to let the knife do the work just to get that last little bit of excess off. You know, it might even be easier, instead of using the entire like knife as it is like this, popping the blade out and just using the blade by itself. And of course you need to do that on both sides. Now what I want to do is, so I've got like an old credit card thing here, so essentially something that's very thin and quite soft plastic that isn't going to damage our belt line. I'm just going to go around the edge, mainly this upper edge with the rubber, because this rubber kind of has a lip, and just sort of like push the top in, just to make sure that we have a really nice even edge all the way along the top. If you're feeling like you're not quite getting your finger like pushing the bottom edge in as well, just quite 100%, just again, you can use your credit card or whatever you're using just to go along the bottom edge as well. So yeah, it looks great. It's exactly the right size and shape as you would expect. It's a product made exactly for this purpose. It is probably quite obviously the most challenging aspect of this install because it's quite fiddly. You have to be quite precise, and of course it involves a bit of blade work and all of that, but ultimately it's doable and it looks great. The results are excellent. So just like before, like magic, I will just suddenly magically do the rest of the car. And there we go, that's the rest of the belt line done. Looks really, really nice, neat job, and yeah, very, very happy with that. If I was to give one piece of advice, it would be take your time. It's the kind of process that can quite easily go wrong. You can make mistakes and waste a bunch of product. I do feel like I got a bit quicker as I went along, as I got used to the process, but yeah, definitely do just sort of take your time, be careful. Although if you do make a mistake and mess up a section or a couple of sections or whatever, there is plenty in the roll to redo some sections. I'd estimate there's probably about enough for like 1.5 cars in a roll, but yeah, I think that looks great. So yeah, the last thing to do then is just to peel off the protective film on these bits, and then we will be job done. Well, there we go then, that is the installation finished of the dechroming kit from SMPS2012. I think it looks absolutely awesome. It really adds that extra aggressive look to the Mini, which I think it really needed. All that shiny chrome just didn't really shout sports car, but now with the piano black dechrome kit on there, I think it really does, and it looks great. Installation overall was pretty easy on the most part, the most fiddly bit being the belt line, but as you can see, it's definitely doable. The fact that SMPS cuts and molds everything absolutely perfectly really makes the installation that much easier, which is awesome. So a big thumbs up to them and a big thumbs up to their kit. So yeah, I hope you like that as much as I do. What do you think of it? Do you think it looks good? Do you think I should be dechroming the actual Mini badges as well? I wasn't too sure about that, but let me know what you think in the comments down below and we'll get a discussion going. So yes, I hope you like that and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe for more content to come very, very soon. Thank you once again. Goodbye.